Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is directed by Matt Reeves and it stars Andy Serkis as Caesar alongside Jason Clarke, Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell, Toby Kebbell, and Cody Smith McPhee. And the film takes place 10 years after the events of Rise and follows a group of human survivors as they battle to stay alive in the wake of a deadly pandemic, while Caesar tries to maintain control over his expanding ape community, which could lead to an all out war between apes and humans. So a sequel to Planet of the Apes, a sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes was announced back in 2011, um, with the return of both Andy Serkis and director Rupert Riot. However, Rupert departed the film and was replaced later on by Matt Reeves. And none of the original main cast members came back, returned for this film. James Franco, such as James Franco and David Oyelowo. But yeah, it's like a new in this film. It's like a new cast of actors, um, playing new characters. Except the only person returning, is Andy Serkis coming back to portraying Caesar. So as I said, I love Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and I knew I didn't mention. I forgot to mention it in my review for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but I did not know uh, Rise was directed by a different director, which was Rupert Riot. I thought Matt Reeves directed all three of the Planet of the Apes movies: Rise, Dawn, War. But no, he only directed Dawn and then War. He did not direct Rise. It's a different. Nowadays people, when we think of Matt Reeves, we associate him with the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. But yeah, so I forgot to mention that there. But yeah, this film really follows Caesar's as he seeks to establish an army of apes for peace. The CGI for the motion capture of the apes really does hold up. It still holds up. The film introduces us to Caesar's family, his wife, Cornelia, and two sons, Blue Eyes and Cornelius, which is a little reference to the original Planet of the Apes film series. There are some great lines in this film, great dialogue, that are quotable and memorable. Andy Serkis is still great as Caesar. He still kills it. I mean, it's Andy Serkis, for crying out loud. Jason Clarke, Kelly Russell, and Gary Oldman have done great performances. Their performances in this film were really great, especially from Gary Oldman and Jason Clarke. Uh, but yeah, mostly Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke is kind of like our new protagonist, our new James Franco. This film does have a great allegory of how is the coexistence between two races, or completely opposite ideals. It's such a unique um allegory and theme, like a message that one can consider and ponder about within this film. Koba is a very intimidating yet tragic and sympathetic main antagonist, and I thought Toby Kebbell did a great job, portraying, or motion capture, but portraying and performing, bringing Koba to life. The film also pays tribute to the first film by showing old footage of young Caesar and his owner Will Rodman, which in the first film was played by James Franco. This film does have a beautiful setting for building the post-apocalyptic future. This film has an incredible soundtrack, and a score. Um, let me see here. By Michael Giacchino. I didn't know that when no, I didn't know that until I looked it up. But yeah, that's impressive. Speaking of impressive, it has an impressive. This film also has an impressive battle between humans and ape, which puts us in the shoes of both sides. And this film also delivers a good message about trust, family, and companionship. And the ending of this film is both epic and amazing. So yeah, definitely great. Now there are a couple issues I have with this film, couple complaints that I have with this film. Um, I mean, the first film I only had one issue, but this one I have a couple. While the visual effects are still astonishing, in some scenes, particularly in the final fight between Koba and Caesar, feels little fluid. It didn't look really good. The visual effects. Um, the film also does have some false advertising in the trailers and posters of the film. Maurice, Luca, and Rocket, friends and allies of Caesar, could be seen as main characters. However, they play a secondary role for most of the film. The main poster of the film, you can see Caesar with this legion of apes attacking and destroying a bridge. However, the scene never occurs in the film since Koba was the one who leads the legion of apes to no bridge is destroyed in the film. At the same time, in the trailer, several scenes of human percussion of ape by apes, like a warship approaching the city, could be seen. Those scenes do not appear in the film nor in the remastered version, and I feel like that's really more of a nitpick or like a slight little issue. But I feel like the reason they did this was because they didn't want to spoil the film. Um, they want to keep people. They want to hype people up to go and watch this movie, which is why I felt like that might be the reason why they gave away, like, made a false advertisement. But yeah, that's just a little nitpick. The movie also does have a couple gaps within the script. Like, for example, there are some plot holes. There are some gaps in this film that were unanswered. Like here I wrote some of them down. How humans managed to survive for 10 years because none of the female apes were able to research, because none of the female apes were able to search for the wounded Caesar. How Dreyfus and his companions managed to escape when the human community was being invaded by apes, because the human tower did not collapse completely, taking into account the magnitude of the explosives and the poor condition of the building, and also how Koba and his allies could get into the city so quickly if the distance between the Samian village and the human community was enormous. Like, those are like questions you really need to consider. Like, compare. I know it's a movie and it's fiction. It Film is like a piece of fiction. Even the films that are like based on a true story or events or biographical um, life films, like Elvis Presley, like it's a it's film is a work of fiction, artistic fiction. But yeah, those are just questions you have to consider. You have to consider and really think about when you're watching these types of films. You're like, oh yeah, this doesn't make any sense. How are they able to go from this to that, like A, B, and C? Like, you really, once you start watching these movies and really start paying attention to them, you're gonna start noticing these issues like I did, and some plot holes, a lot of plot holes, a couple of them. But and either than that, like, it's still a great movie. I Don't get me wrong, it's still a great movie. Um, Great movie, great acting, great story all around. But anyway, that's all I have to say for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Matt Reeves does a great job. He did a great job directing this movie. Andy Serkis is still amazing as hell as Caesar. Uh, Jason Clarke, Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell, Toby Kebbell, Cody Smith McPhee, all great, all of them great. But yeah, that's all I have to say for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to listening to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe because that would help me out by a lot, and I appreciate that. I'm thankful for that, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.